Okay, welcome to the Caribou Data Science channel. This is going to be a brief introduction and demonstration of data mining at a very small scale, okay? In a very, by definition, data mining, data warehouse implies massive amount, terabytes of data. We have maybe a gigabyte of data to work with at most. And we've seen, first of all, we'll go over and send a link. But the practice of data mining doesn't change with the size of the data. Okay, the more data could be more insights, but I wonder why this is taking so long to do. But anyway, let's take a look at the definition. The practice of analyzing large data sets in order to generate new information or new business insights, whatever you want to call it. It's just words, okay? It's just data. The key phrase is generate, because a lot of times what it does, this is where the data warehouse comes in. You generate new information, new tables, new aggregate details and stuff off of your transaction database, and you upload them to your data warehouse. And that's basically what a data warehouse is. It's a database that stores management information data in a format that management can use. Okay, whether it's as we'll see, whether it's yearly totals by product, totals by country, totals by two or three, all three of them combined. That's basically what data mining is. It's taking the data in the data warehouse and extracting business information that's useful to the management to help them making decisions about the future of the business. Okay. To come down here, data mining is a process of analyzing large data sets to uncover patterns and valuable information. It can be used for various purposes such as marketing, risk management, fraud detection, spam filtering, or sentiment analysis. You notice this is actually a little insight here from Bing, okay? So what I want to do, I want to come over here. Let's come over here. I wonder if she's and I'm going to try to keep this really short so not to take up too much of your time. Oh no, she's not there. So, just to back up one step, generally when you talk about data in a business environment, there's two types of databases. There's the transaction database, which tracks all the data, which tracks all the business activity of the business on a daily basis. Then you take that information and you do data mining, and you create dimension tables, you create aggregate tables on a data warehouse, and at that point, then the management goes back, pulls out the information which they are interested in. Okay, we're going to be looking at two tables today: a country table and our dimension table. Wait, did I just say dimension table? Yeah. The original. Here's the country table. Most importantly, it includes region, subnational region, world region, population. I think that's the happiness index, maybe, and GDP per capita. Okay, so that's one dimension table. This table was made, okay, and you could call this data mining because we took two tables. We took the countries table and the subnational table and combined them to get this table here. And there's one row for each country, right? Now the main now the other dimension table, okay, because if we say dimension table, it's a table that aggregates data by certain categorical variable, by certain columns, then this table, which was part of the original project, is a dimension table. To me, it has basically 4 basic dimensions. It has country, year, commodity code, and commodity, and it has it has import and export also. And we could and along with quantity and US dollars, and it has a category field, which is a product category field, okay? So we can do aggregate functions and dimension. We can create new data in dimension tables using any of these things here, okay? But let's open up our favorite ChatGPT. What we're going to do, we're going to give ChatGPT the schema for the commodity trade table and for the country table, and go ask it to suggest some insights, some business insights. As you can see, let's start a new project. Let's see, we'll call this data mine. Yeah, so we got DIM and DM. DM is data mine. So let's start with some very simple products, very simple ideas. Okay, we're going to, and of course, because we're dealing with this massive data, we need to create a new connection to our database. Create connection. Let's see. Commodity. That's not really important what database we're using. Well, I did use, let's just call this commodity connection, okay? Over here, select our database. My intention is to try to keep this short and sweet, okay? Let's pull on our table. Let's test our connection. Good. Now that's finished. So now we have all of our data, the country table and our dimension table all ready to go. Let's rename this data mine. Let's call this our data mine connection, okay? Because this is our connection to all. Do you want to? Yeah, I do actually. Good. So now we come over here. Go pull in our data mine connection. We're going to do an SQLite input. Okay. Come down here. And again, we're going to start with something simple. Main aggregate. Now, since this is an SQL database, you have 2 choices. You can use the database input function, which allows you to actually use SQL. That's one way. But hey, the fun way is we're going to do it with the aggregate function, actually, which comes with that comes with Talend. Okie dokie. Let's do this. Let's look at this. Oh, we have to do a let's wait a minute to see if she shows up. Give her a couple moments here. Now she could, of course, be connected. Let's get this. Okay, that's fine. I'll just continue on. Okay, so let's continue on. So this is just our connection. All right, that's all this is. So next we're going to come over here. So here's our SQLite rows. We're going to come over, we're going to select our database column. And my objective is to keep this under, that's right, under 30 minutes, okay? So we could come over here like so. Say, from commodity yearly table, okay? So now we got our commodity, now we got our first table in here, all right? You come down here like this, all right? And we can come over here. It's kind of odd that we don't actually see the columns here, do we? Okay, so let's come over here. First of all, this is an integer. Let's add let's see. I can't remember what the column names were. Trade US dollars. Let's just start with something easy. Trade USD. All right. So what we're looking for here is let's say max USD. This, of course, is going to be a float. I think it's a float anyway. Max USD. And we're going to do average. So this is average sales in US dollars, okay? And we're going to take all these three over here, take these three here. There. So now we got our data. All right. Now we're going to do, now again, there's two ways you can do this. You could simply use the SQL in order to create the columns, or we're going to use the aggregate function. You know, it really depends on where the data is coming from, what you're comfortable with. Remember, in the end, the only thing that matters is the management gets the numbers they're looking for. Okay, so come over here. Let's just do a main aggregate. Okay, come down here. We're going to do an aggregate by year. Year. All right. Now we're going to come down here. We'll do this. USD. Input column USD, output. Max USD, this is going to be a sum. All right. Add a new one. This is going to be min USD. Again, this is going to be a min function. And finally, we're going to do an average USD. So this is going to give us the maximum, the minimum, the average sales by year for the entire data set, okay? For all countries, all products, all categories, okay? All right. And we're doing it by year. So let's just test this and see what happens. Oh, that's not good. I wonder what the problem is. Cannot convert from float to string. That's interesting. So that's over here someplace, apparently. Is it this up here? Let's run this first here. Must be over here then. Oh, okay. Oh, not sure how that happened. So now let's run this. Cannot convert from string to integer. And everything else is float. Let's see what happens now. Oh, good. Oh man, well now what's wrong? What is it? Not very helpful, is it? It says not an error. I don't know what not an error means then. Let's go over here. Let's do a log. See if we actually get anything over here. Okay. So what's wrong? Let's do this. Let's start. I don't think this is going to work, is it? See, this is the only thing. Let's take a look here. Database structure, yearly. So these both are floats, and so that is correct. So it is floats. Now maybe we don't need those there because they don't exist yet. All right. Okay, let's do this. So we're getting an error on the table. So we're going to do db connect. Okay. Now we want to do okay. Table. Well, that's interesting. Data mine. Okay. Table name. So we're going to use okay. Now year should be integer. Okay. Now let's see if we can run this without any errors. trade USD. That was probably where I was getting an error for. Okay, now let's try to run this. Now this shouldn't return any output, right? Because we're not really doing anything with it. We'll confirm that just to make sure. Let's do a kill. Let's come over here. Let's just do a log. Headers. Let's just run this now. Okay, so we got our two columns. We got our year and our sales in U.S. dollars. So let's get rid of this for the time being. Let's come over here. Now we'll do our aggregate function. Group by column as year. There. All right. Let's do by year. Let's come down here. Do we actually need to so will this actually create the columns in? Okay, so it looks as if we actually have to create the columns first, okay? You know what's interesting? Okay, so I think what we have to do, we do have to come back over here to the schema, add and we'll do this as a float. Make this a float. Let's see, AB. Okay, propagate that, come back over here. And now come down here and let's do, now we can assign this. So you calculate the aggregate function, okay, and then you assign it to a predefined value. Some USD. max. Let's ignore values. Min. And average, and the mean or the average. Okay, so now let's run this, clear this. See if it gets an error. If it does, we'll just punt. So congratulations, we just created our first insight, our first what's it called? Congratulations, we just finished our first data mining activity. Okay, our first insight, our first dimension table. We're going to use this to create a new dimension table, which is going to be products. Is going to be total sales by year. Okay. Okay, the fact that it hasn't failed yet means that this. So let's just come over. Should we get adventurous and actually go ahead and just create the table itself without even looking at it? Database. Table, let's call this DM year. All right, so there's our table. All right, our data warehouse, we'll create a data mine called sales by year in US dollars, of course. So let's see what happens now, shall we? Well, so it's made it through the DP input stage. And it's passing the data to the aggregate row function. Now again, we could very easily done this query here with SQL. It's just a simple aggregate function plus a group by year, and bang, we're there. But you may not know SQL or feel comfortable, you know. And this could take a few moments. Shall we just have a little bit of fun? We're going to take our what we're going to do now, we're going to harness the power of AI to give us some business insights. So we're going to take the schemas for the commodity trade table and the countries table, and see what kind of insights that ChatGPT will suggest. Oh, I had this open. Stop. So this is still running. I mean, what a probably just, it's probably good aggregates. This is going to like fire the thing out at once, at one moment, okay? But we'll see what happens. Okay, good. Now, the schema includes the creation of two tables: dim countries and dim commodity. Dim countries is this. Okay, now it's starting. So that means apparently this load performs all the aggregate functions and then comes over here. Oh man. No such table. DM cells by year. That's true, there's not. But see, it's supposed to be creating a table for us. So what we can do is we can test this with a log function and see if it's actually producing the output that we expected. Now this is one of those situations where I would personally feel more comfortable trying to do it with SQL, okay? Let's see if it'll answer this question. Ah, this may have worked. Let's take a look here. Let's take a look at our database. Okay, how do we have averages but no totals, but no individual values? So that is what it is. We actually don't need the total USD column because it's not a value. But the most important thing is the sum, the max, the min, and the average sale per year for the year. So this is the average sale for 1988 for all countries, for 1988 and so forth. So that in a nutshell is data mining. Okay, obviously it gets much more deep and involved in the real world, but that's all it is. It's taking a business requirement and converting it into data using your dimension tables, right? Remember, our main dimension table is a commodity trade table, and again we call it a dimension table because it has dimensions to it. It has a year dimension, it has a country dimension, it has a commodity dimension, it has a flow dimension, import export, and it has a category dimension to it, okay? Those are all dimensions. Another way to think of dimensions is categorical variables. In some languages, R and Python, those columns, year, so forth, year, country, so forth, are what's called categorical variables because you have a limited range of values, okay? So we produced year. Now what else do we want to do? Well, let's do let's continue to work with the basic data set we got here, just to illustrate the point. So now, how long are we at this now? 51 minutes. That's a little longer. So we'll do one more example, and then we're going to end it right here. Okay. What we want to know is let's see. Dollars by country, okay, dollars by country, including min, max, and so forth, okay? So we come back over here, and we can actually take this entire thing here probably. because we got this, right? Go over here, schema. Get rid of year. Now we could of course do it by year, right? So we want to know for various countries for the entire database, okay, the entire database, we want to know, we don't actually need that, I don't think, because that just confuses matters. But what we want to know is which countries, for the entire history of the database, okay, you know, which countries had the most historically had the highest number of sales. So we're going to do for each country. We're going to do the total average sales, maximum sales, minimum sales, and whatever the fourth one is. Okay. Let's propagate that. So now we're going to get rid of year. Sync our things here. The first question is, let's make sure it actually is what it's called. Country or area. Okay, good. All right. Country or area. Then we're going to come back down here and do all of our averages: sum, max, min, mean, US, all USDs. Okay. And all we did was change one column. Now we could do country and year both. Okay, we could do country and year both. Oh, why not? Hey, you deserve it. All right. So there's that. Edit schema. So we want to add we're going to go one more level deeper, okay? We're going to go by country and year, all right? Propagate the changes. Let's make sure, yeah, I'm pretty sure it's year, okay? So dollars by country and year, all right? So now we got our function here. Again, our aggregate function, let's add all right, so by country and year, we're going to calculate the min, the max, and the average for each country, okay? Okay, sync. Now we're going to get the big one, because now we're on two levels of data. We're doing, first time we did year, now we're doing country and year. So we have one row for each country, total sales for one row for each country for each year. Okay, U.S. sales in U.S. dollars. Okay, and the question is, will this actually run? I'll be tickled pink if this does run by today. If it does work, or if it doesn't, we're going to bring the broadcast to them, because it's been closer to an hour already. Oh man, what happened over here? warning. How odd. No such column. Okay, got it. Got it. Yeah, and we're still only using the one. We're still only using the one table, right? That sure looks right to me. Oh, you know what the trouble is? It's down here. All right, C-U-N-T-R-Y. That's where the problem was. Interesting, huh? Because it's spelled right up here. So the trouble was, I had it spelled wrong in the query down here, okay? So now let's try it. What do you mean? Let's see what happens if what it actually does here, okay? Because some worked, you know what it could be? Because it worked the first time by year, okay? Which is kind of strange. And all we did was add a country to it. And that's the problem, is with the country column. Let's just see what happens. Here, let it run its course and see what happens. So because it's saying the columns come from over here, okay, the type is different. Some for output column can't be processed because of the table and their input column. Well, the input column types didn't change. That's the thing that's kind of strange. Okay, so we'll see if it actually does anything, because this is basically the same query we did for the sales by year, except all we did was add country to it. So let's just see what happens here. I mean, it causes but the type should be the type should be the same, right? Maybe we need to go to I don't know, a different data type, maybe. And what you could see another example of the frustrations of working with data. And sometimes you don't always find the answer. You don't always get the answer. The answer may have to wait until tomorrow. Okay. So that disconnect. But over here it says query schema is different from the query. Okay. So the question is, did we get a new table? And what happened here, of course, is what? The column types didn't work right. Okay, let's try doing it one more way. Okay, well, I'm going to save this, but we'll create another version over here. And we'll, so we can move some by year, move this up to our data, move that up to our data mine. Create a new. Okay, data mine. Let's view schema. Let's do a connection first. Good, 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 good. Okay, we can come over here. Let's see. Okay, then we can come over here and say, okay, so we come over here. Okay. Use a connection. Here should be a net. Okay. Let's do a float. Okay. Now let's come down here. Country, year, Let's see, some. Okay, let's see. Why does it keep doing that for? Min, max. We're going to do a group by. By. Of course, as always, we got to let's do this. Sync. Oh, crap. Or area. How could it not be? How could it not be? It wasn't in the area because we forgot to include the table, the commodity table. That's the problem. How can that be? That there's no such thing. How can it be that there's not a? Oh, you know what the trouble is? No, this is fine. So that's the input columns. Let me see something here. Let's get rid of this stuff here. I'm going to start here instead. Data mine, table name. And here. So let's just do this. So that's our input. select from okay, does that make a difference? So database. So this is taking a little longer than necessary. I should have quit after the first one succeeded, right? Because here we're not doing anything. We're simply listing out the two columns. Hmm. Hmm. 43 rows so far. No, it's not particularly working very fast, is it? You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to leave you folks hanging, okay? And tomorrow I'll come back. We'll do more data mining, more introduction to data mining, okay? But you saw basically data mining is just extracting, using, whether we use Talend or SQL to extract data from a data warehouse, okay? And then put it into a format that management can use to make decisions, okay? And that's really what it boils down to. The difficult part is defining the requirements and converting the requirements into code, whether SQL or Talend code. Okay. So anyway, I'm going to call this session a close. I'm not exactly sure, whether to call it a success or not. But we once again, you saw an example of success, and you saw an example of frustration when when it comes. It's part of the